Hi, if you have a complaint against a parish council or you live in an area with a parish council, which actually cover about 40% of the country, then this video may well be an eye opener for you. I'm going to reveal the stealth tax that you are paying in your council tax and how that can be exploited by parish councils. So, if your planning application has been negatively impacted by a parish council, while those of the landowning parish councillors always go through, then you'll be interested in our examples and you may currently be wondering, how the hell do these people get away with it? Hopefully, you saw episode 1 where we discussed unfair business rates and compared our pub with the only other one in the parish, owned by the deputy chair of the parish council, who does not appear to be paying any business rates, despite having multiple times the amount of accommodation that we do, and also about how we have been trolled and about our future plans. I also produced a video back in 2023 about our unfair parish council and their inappropriate comments about our planning applications. Well, a few years on, we are still having problems with them and they just seem to be operating as a law unto themselves. But the Labour government is actually looking at giving them even more powers when it comes to deciding where development projects can happen. So, we're also going to expose just how difficult it is to complain about a parish council, how they do not follow the rules set out in legislation or abide by their own code of conduct. And I'll be showing this with evidence and what this means for the outcomes of planning applications at the moment for local people compared with those of the parish councillors. So at the end of this video, you may want to check out our previous one from 2023, where we exposed how poorly we've been treated by the parish council, and also how poorly run our parish council is. Now, I can tell you the situation has not improved, and it's arguably worse. But we've since found out a lot more interesting information, with meetings still being held in secret, no minutes for meetings shown again since October 2024, no public disclosures about conflicts of interest, and no answers to the 11 questions that I put to them, which included contributions from the general public. Now, not only do they not put meeting agendas, minutes, etc. on their website, and they don't do this for years at a time, they do not make use of the numerous notice boards in the village where they could display when their meetings are with the agenda. So I'm only left assuming from this behaviour that they don't want people to know what's happening. This is because, in my opinion, it would include information about their own planning applications. They are, in fact, supposed to show a public declaration of a conflict of interest. So there's absolutely no excuse for this behaviour. In this video, I'm going to make a comparison between all of the planning applications made for holiday accommodation made by members of the public with those made by the parish councillors. And this will show how they are dealt with differently by the parish council and how the final outcomes are very different too in terms of whether they are approved. Now, most people don't have a clue about what's going on with parish councils. In fact, even the people on the parish councils themselves don't seem to have much of a clue either, because I'm told by someone from another local parish council that our clerk actually used to work with, that they're supposed to receive training, but she doesn't organise it. But that's just another reason for me to complain, and this needs exposing. So we've followed all of the recommendations for complaining about parish councils, which I'm going to show to you what you are supposed to do. But we have now taken our fight all the way to government level, which I'm going to tell you about. And I think it's important that more of us do this. So while parish councils are considered to be a bit of a joke by most people, you know, especially when it comes to planning and people say, oh, well, it's not their say, etc. Well, I beg to disagree. because they are very influential when you live in an area that's classed as countryside in planning policy. But the government is actually planning to increase the number of parish councils and strengthen their role in neighbourhood governance and planning. So I am informed that our local councillors have not been informed of this or provided with any training. But as I mentioned before, that's nothing new with our clerk that is paid for out of our council tax. She does not provide any training. Now, this just seems like open season for parish councillors to me, where those that own land, etc., can sway what is allowed to go in the neighbourhood development plan, which will have statutory powers in planning decisions, and they will not be acting just as consultees in the future. So, why is no one raising this? It just seems to be passing through completely unnoticed. So this is the situation we have. We have a parish council holding its meetings in secret. Can't see what they've been discussing, when they're going to discuss it. No members of the public therefore attend. But the councillors are land and business owners who strongly object to anyone else's plans for holiday accommodation, which would be in competition to theirs. Their applications always get waved through, even when there's some controversy, which I'm going to tell you about, but this is all out of public view. Unless you just happen to stumble across it on the planning portal, which doesn't seem to be what other people have actually done. So I'm going to show you around 16 examples in this video. But at the start of all of this, it was difficult to even find out who was on our parish council because there were 4 different versions showing online. So the list on their parish council website did not agree with the list of disclosures that had been made. It didn't agree with the number of people mentioned by the clerk in an email to myself. And it didn't agree with the list shown on the Shropshire County Council website either. So I have an email trail with the clerk regarding this, and she was deliberately evasive and wouldn't clarify. So I was left investigating these names myself, and I just could not believe what I found out. They are our business rivals. So we had applied for planning permission for extra accommodation to help make our struggling pub financially viable. As we could see from day one, it was our letting rooms that were propping up the running of the bar and the restaurant. But the parish council strongly objected. So one of the councillors, who is the deputy parish council chair, is the owner of the only pub in the parish. And the PC chair has holiday lodges in the parish and a related business owned by his son, who is now the ward councillor, so I can't even complain to them. And they have even more sway now when it comes to planning, as can be seen on the videos for the Southern Shropshire Planning Committee. So there's another person on the list where there was conflicting information about whether she was a councillor. But this person was actually inciting others on Facebook when we had applied for this extra accommodation, saying, and I quote, "Everyone needs to object with respect to our application." So this parish council strongly objects to everyone else's application if it's made for holiday use. And I'll show this later in the video. But they don't always even just say object. They always use the word strongly, which I've told them is inflammatory language. So with respect to ours, I asked the clerk which members strongly objected to our application, and she replied that it was all of them. So, by the way, without that extra accommodation, which would have been in competition with those parish councillors' own businesses, is now permanently closed. And I exposed that in the last video, where we've been paying nearly £1,000 a month in business rates, which was a major contributor to our troubles, while the parish councillor's pub doesn't appear to be paying any, even though he's probably got 3 times more accommodation at least than we do. So I took the obvious first step and complained to the clerk on numerous occasions and asked for information about certain things where decisions had been made. But she said she's not going to respond after taking legal advice. And she's also said that they don't keep any records. But not only that, someone is starting to hide information. But luckily, I've always kept screenshots, but this is actually getting very serious indeed. So, when I checked the planning portal about a week or two ago, I noticed that the objection letter from the parish council had disappeared. But it still said in the comments to see in documents what the parish council had said. But having checked that again just a few days ago before making this video, even that comment has now mysteriously disappeared. So now it's not just their meetings that are in secret, but their objections on the planning portal too. So who's applying to PINs to have this information taken down and on what grounds? Especially if this government is planning to give parish councils more say and powers when it comes to planning. So it's starting to feel like the bloody X-Files now. So I can feel another Freedom of Information Act request coming on. So how do you complain about a parish council? Well, obviously, there's no point going to this clerk, is there? So I started to investigate other ways of complaining about them. And this has just sent me on what feels like a merry-go-round ride of conflicting information. So next I tried complaining to Shropshire Council to see what they could do, and my complaint was passed on to a solicitor there who replied and said that the clerk of the parish council is an employee of the parish council, which obviously I knew because they are paid out of the funds that go to the parish council. And he says it's a wholly independent organisation over which Shropshire Council has no power of control or direction. So complaints about such employees should be directed to their employer, in this case, the parish council itself. Complaints about the parish clerk should usually be made directly to the chairman of the parish council. Remember, he's one of the owners of the holiday accommodation. Similarly, complaints about the parish council, its decisions, and the way it makes those decisions should be forwarded to the parish council itself to consider. Shropshire Council has no power to consider such complaints about the parish council, and regrettably, neither does the local government and social care ombudsman. Well, I've heard the opposite of that, but there you go. The parish council is subject to the Freedom of Information legislation, and failure to supply appropriate requested information can be referred to the ICO. I'm sorry that we are unable to assist. So I'd already done a lot of what this solicitor at Shropshire Council had said. So I'd emailed the chair of the parish council, no response. I complained also to the previous ward councillor who used to attend some of the meetings there and who comments on planning applications. No response. I applied to the Information Commissioner's office, and the parish clerk just kept saying that they don't keep records and to go back to the ICO, as that's what they told her. So they just facilitated her, really. And I've been told to complain to the ombudsman before, but this solicitor was saying that they have no powers either. So surely someone can sort this mess out. So I emailed the solicitor again, and he told me to complain to the monitoring officer at Shropshire Council. So I don't know why he didn't tell me that before. So I did that, and instead of them helping me, she advised the parish council clerk on how to object to another application that we made instead. Now, how do I know this? Well, this clerk accidentally sends me copies of emails intended for other people where she's talking about me, including one to the chair on a previous occasion. So if I complain to this clerk, which I've done on numerous occasions, she's always evasive. So I asked for a copy of their complaints procedure and code of conduct, but she just kept acting like she didn't understand. But I wouldn't let her off the hook, and eventually she sent me a document, probably provided by her mate, the monitoring officer, but she hadn't even made it her own and left in all the X's where she was supposed to put the name of the parish council. So let's have a look at just some of the information that was in those generic documents that the clerk sent to me, because I don't think that the expectations shown in them are being adhered to. So, for example, being accountable for decisions and cooperating when scrutinised internally and externally, including by local residents. Well, I don't think she is being accountable, as are the parish councils, and there's certainly no cooperation from the clerk or the chair of the council either. What else do we have? Contributing to making this authority's decision-making processes as open and transparent as possible to enable residents to understand the reasoning behind those decisions and to be informed when holding them and other members to account, but restricting access to information when the wider public interest or the law requires it. Well, they're not being transparent, are they? As open and transparent as possible. Like I said, there's no minutes, no agendas. They're not on the website, they're not on the notice boards in the parish either. They've not adhered to their complaints procedure whatsoever. They clearly don't want to take ownership of it by leaving all the X's in there. So when I did ask for copies of minutes that hadn't been published on the website on a previous occasion, I was told that as they're not published yet, that I would have to wait for them to appear with everyone else. And we've had no minutes again now since that. It's happened all over again since October 2024, and it's now February 26. And I did put some of this in the description to my first video back in 2023 with a timeline there about it. But I was told by another local parish council that they are supposed to publish minutes within 20 working days in law. So even when they do appear, they're full of mistakes, which I've pointed out to us, such as in some previous minutes, I said you list them as being for the 8th of January on the website, but on page 3 of the minutes, it says that they were produced on the 26th of February. So what's going on there? And they're not minutes anyway, in my opinion. They're so vague, you can't even determine exactly what was discussed. So this clerk would also post objections to our applications when there hadn't even been a meeting. So next I complained to the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, who told me that they could not comment on individual planning decisions, but that wasn't the main gist of my complaint anyway. But they told me to go to Shropshire Council, who actually I have 14 serious complaints about, which I'll discuss in another video. And I've already mentioned their solicitor not being able to help and the monitoring officer problem. So what is the government saying I should do regarding Shropshire Council? Do they not know that there is no mechanism to complain? So I then engaged with our local MP. So Stuart Anderson for the Conservatives did ask a question of the government on our behalf, and a response came back on behalf of the Secretary of State, but I don't think they really understood the problem. They said they couldn't comment on an individual planning application. Well, that wasn't really the nature of the complaint. The complaint is about giving parish councils more powers and say about what happens in the development plan, which will carry a lot of weight in planning decisions, just as much as Shropshire Council's development plans, for example. So they're not seeing the potential here for all of the bias where the people that are constructing the plan are landowners themselves. So anyway, this is being bounced back to the government for a further response. So this is a document I found in the House of Commons library, um, dating back to 2021 and called Parish and Town Councils Recent Issues. So, as the name implies, there are already known issues. So, why is this new government allowing this to continue and arguably giving them more powers with local decision making and which can be exploited? So there is a whole section on complaining about parish councils, which I will come to very quickly in a minute. But just skimming through, there's a section here that says that parish meetings must be held twice a year. If there's a population of over 300 and can have a separate parish council. Yep, that is all in place. And that does fit with the 2021 UK census, given the size of Eardington. So that's fine. So it's now February 2026. So let's have a look at the Parish Council's website. Right, these are all the minutes that are currently published. As I say, there's nothing there for quite a while. So where is the second meeting for 2025? Furthermore, you can see on their own website, it says that they meet every 2 months. Maybe they do, but where are the minutes then? It also says at the top there that the agenda will be posted a few days before the meeting and also minutes of the past meetings. Well, this doesn't happen, and I've been reporting this since 2023, but nothing changes. Where are the minutes discussing the planning applications for the parish council chair and the vice chair for their holiday accommodation? Dated as submitted in 2025. The one for the parish chairs was went through. Okay, there's another one for the vice chair that's currently going through with any decision due now, and a lot more to say on their applications later. So, still looking through this government document on page 13 now. So, it does not seem that they are following what is required here. So, it says there are legal requirements regarding the holding of meetings, freedom of information, and councillor conduct. They're just not following this at all, are they? Especially when you look at their response to my Freedom of Information Act request as well as the meetings, and they're just saying they don't hold information. So now let's look at the most important bit about how you complain about a parish council. So it says there are few remedies available in this regard. Few? I don't see any. Few outside of the 4 yearly elections to the parish council. Well, they're self-elected, they vote for one another. Who even knows about these parish councils local to us when everything's conducted in secret? It also says there's no single organisation which oversees parish councils. Well, no single, I don't see any. The government just seems to have taken the view that they can just run themselves unchallenged. Do they have any idea about what is going on? How can they if there's no mechanism to complain about parish councils? It just seems like a medieval system. So, this is what they say are the various mechanisms then for complaining. Let's look at what's suggested. So, complaints procedure. Well, I've shown how the parish council did not appear to have one and then sent me a generic one containing lots of X's and how they don't adhere to it anyway. So the annual parish meeting, well, who knows when that is because the PC hides their meetings. I keep telling you about that. Auditor, when are they coming? Local electors, no one votes. They vote themselves in uncontested, and I don't want to do it. I want parish councils abolished. I don't think we should be paying anything to a parish council either. In fact, I was going to talk a bit more about that. So the Tax Alliance people are saying that in the council tax, the parish council component is not capped. It can actually go up by absolutely any amount. So there's another stealth tax for you. Complain about misconduct to the monitoring officer. Well, I told you I did that, and she only further enabled them and then left. So, central government has no power. Well, that's an understatement. Complain to the chair. As I say, I contacted them and received no reply. So, who the hell are parish councils answerable to? No one. They just serve their own interests as much as they like, totally unchallenged. So yeah, they gain from another stealth tax. So there's no cap on the parish council component in the council tax. But another change that's coming, which you're probably not aware of, is that parish councils are also going to be given a bigger chunk of money that comes from any developments in the area that are approved through the seal charge. So that is on a sort of per metre squared basis. I think for Shropshire Council, it's about £150 per square metre, something ridiculous. So we're talking big chunks of money overall, but parish councils are going to get a bigger chunk now. But where does that money get spent from in our area? So we live in an area with lots of little communities, but I never see anything spent in our little community of Knoll Sands. There's nothing ever mentioned in the minutes, even from years ago. And again, I've asked the clerk to comment on this, but she just ignores it. So we're paying her salary from our council tax. And really, what we're doing is paying for her to work against us with our planning applications. So let's talk about how this really does affect other people, especially business owners as well in this area. And as with all my other videos, I back everything up with evidence, just like I did in the last one where I compared business rates and council tax. So it's time to do a little comparison again. And this time it's going to be for planning applications for holiday accommodation in terms of the parish council's response and which ones go through as approved. So here are some planning application references. So the ones on the left are ours, and the ones on the right are for other local people who have applied for basically holiday accommodation. Now, every single one of these applications has been not just objected to, but strongly objected to by the parish council. And as I say, this has culminated in the closure of our business. So, for the doubters out there and the people that think that parish councils are just a joke and have no say, I've told you how that's changing, but it's already a problem, not just with how they are being run, but for communities like ours where we are defined as countryside. I'm not talking about Greenbelt or anything like that. In fact, this site that I own is classed as brownfield as well, but we are outside of the local development plan, which means we're classed as countryside, and that means an exception has to be sought from policy MD1, so the parish council has to agree to it. So the parish council could have helped us at any time and allowed us to have that extra accommodation needed for the pub to become financially viable, but instead our pub closed. Okay, so that is a loss to the community. But with all of the policy changes that are coming, there is nothing to stop the parish council from having their own land included in this neighbourhood development plan, where planning applications would be accepted for new construction. You're probably also thinking, well, surely the vice chair of the parish council with the pub wanted yours to go. You're doing them a favour now that you have change of use. Well, remember, we were paying nearly £1,000 a month in business rates, with a chunk of money going to the parish council for them to spend, whereas it doesn't appear that he is paying any business rates and so not making a contribution. Right, so moving on from the 6 applications that were strongly objected to by the Parish Council and mainly for holiday accommodation, which were all refused, here's the list of the applications made by the parish councillors. One of them is to be decided any day now, which is for holiday chalets and involves change of use of land because it's not actually directly connected to their existing land. Now, these applications have always been accepted as well. So you'll struggle to find any comments in any meetings, public disclosures, that kind of thing. But that's not the only controversy. So some of these are for certificates of lawfulness. So what do we mean there? So our deputy chair of the parish council has now 30 touring caravan pitches, which I mentioned in the last video, but apparently he only had planning permission for 10, and he's converted buildings as well for use which he didn't have planning permission for. So that has been granted permission through a certificate of lawfulness too. Now, I don't have a crystal ball and I can't see into the future, but I am going to make a couple of predictions. So now all of the shenanigans within the parish council have been exposed. I'm predicting that some of them may well resign now that they all have the planning permission that they need. I don't really see what else they can actually do. And secondly, once this last planning application has been decided for the deputy chair of the parish council, given that the one for the chair's planning has already been accepted, then all of the missing minutes will suddenly appear as if by magic. So how can you help us? Well, what you can do is subscribe to our channel and share our videos, please. Let's get all of this exposed. We cannot just let this go through unchallenged. We need to be sorting out these parish councils. Have a look at your own council tax bill and see if you are paying an additional charge to a town or parish council. So if you have any stories to share too about parish councils, then you can send them to us using the email address for this channel. And our future plans, what are we up to next? Well, we're going to keep fighting. We'll keep going. We are in talks with people about suggestions that we've received for the site too. So I'm going to finish this episode with another song, just as we did in the last one, just for a bit of fun and just to show that we do have resilience and we stay optimistic. And I'll show you some pictures of what was our lovely pub as well, that, as I say, is now permanently closed and has planning permission for residential use.
Gets you down, forget all your troubles and turn it around. No time to regret it, keep smiling your frown. Enjoy this new feeling, spread it around. Don't give up, keep dreaming when life gets you down. Don't let it be something to carry around. It's fine to forget it, still smiling your frown. Enjoy this new feeling, share it around. Just rise up, keep singing. Hey now, are you ready? Stay steady. Hey now, don't feel down at all. Make it right as your life's meant for living. It's alright to keep your feet on the ground. Hey now, are you ready? Stay steady. Hey now, there is hope for us all. There's no fight, just a right to keep living. It's alright, you don't need to think small. Life gets you down, forget all your troubles and turn it around. No time to regret it, keep smiling your frown. Enjoy this new feeling, spread it around. Don't give up, keep dreaming when life gets you down. Don't let it be something to carry around. It's time to forget it, still smiling you'll frown. Enjoy this new feeling, share it around. Just rise up, keep singing. Hey now, are you ready? Stay steady. Hey now, don't feel down at all. Make it right as your life's meant for living. It's alright, keep your feet on the ground. Hey now, are you ready? Stay steady. Hey now, there is hope for us all. There's no fight, just a right to keep living. It's alright, you don't need to think small. Stay steady. Hey now, there is hope for us all. There's no fight, just a right to keep living. It's alright, you don't need to think small. Hey now.